when it comes to altering your reality, there comes a point to which, despite you feeling like you're doing everything that you need to be doing, let's be honest, the shit just ain't fucking working. And there's a bunch of reasons for that, because you have to understand, when it comes to materializing your desired reality, which, as I always say, spirituality without the ability to control your reality is nothing but vanity. You need to understand that there's a checklist or 5 steps that you need to do, which includes a whole bunch of things, which is altering your brainwave states, which is transcending duality, altering your perception, altering your definitions on what it means for it to work, and so forth. Because so long as you're trapped within this particular frustration, and don't get me wrong, you could be doing everything it is you need to be doing, visualizing, affirming, scripting, rubbing your crystals, changing your diet, everything that you feel like should actually alter you into your desired reality. You could be doing all of those things and it's still not enough. And the truth of the matter is that is something that is inescapable. But there's a 5-step process that if you go through each one of these things, as I'll list them out, that should set things back into a degree to which your reality is changing to the way that you would like it. So as usual, relax. You're gonna get some. You can see our boy is over here, is frustrated. He's on his knees, pause. This guy is, he's in a puddle of his tears, and you can see what's going on with my man. Like you ain't even gotta see it.
I didn't even see you draw him. What is going on with my man?
Bro, it's self-explanatory.
Right.
It feels good to wipe this board. You know what I mean?
Bro, I thought you were going to say something else.
What? Oh. What do you think I was going to say?
Let's not go there.
See, you're freaked out, fam. You're freaked out.
Now, let's talk about some wins real quick, though, because people in the comments been saying...
Please, of course, please, yes.
I manifested shoulders like Nero, now I'm getting reptilian
Okay, so I thought we were actually talking serious.
Serious.
What did he say? He's getting what accusations?
Reptilian
guys, I'm not a reptilian, I'm not a clone, I'm not AI. I keep getting these accusations for whatever reason. I'm a real boy like Pinocchio. I keep telling you this.
Bro said that like a true AI. Well, nah, someone said, bro, I was the one who asked, how can I help my family at a young age during your live stream? Now I manifested an internship for me at 18 years old. I'm so happy. Thank you so much.
That's amazing. Congratulations, my brother.
There's someone else that said they manifested a job opportunity that's double their salary.
Raw. Yo, can we borrow some money?
Like, turn me up. Other people are getting...
Read out exactly what they said.
Manifesting the best hotels in Dubai for one of their trips.
Wow.
Yeah, man. Sick.
Now, congratulations to all of you. That's amazing. Just from watching the videos. I keep telling you guys this, my videos are more than enough. As usual, make sure you take notes, because like I said, there's a 5-step kind of checklist that we're going to be doing to essentially get the universe to get shit together, quite literally. Because I know what it's like for you niggas. Don't get me wrong. There was a point where I was reading all these books. You've seen the hundreds of books and shit still wasn't clicking, and it was fucking annoying to say the least. But then I kind of came up with this 5-step checklist to make sure which kind of makes sure that everything's where it needs to be. And so long as you do each one of these things, guys, trust me, it will be more than enough. This might be the type of video you come back to when shit's just not going the way that you would like. Now, the first thing that you have to understand is this. When it comes to materialization of your desired reality, the world that you live in is nothing more than a product of the contents of your subconscious mind. The reality you live in, what we call matter, the world, what it's comprised out of, is nothing more than the altered state of consciousness, which is the fabrics of your mind. And you have to understand that more often than not, when it comes down to doing the things that you need to be doing, whether it's affirmations, visualizations, whatever it is, any particular technique or any of the work that you've been doing to alter your frequency so it can reflect your desired reality, more often than not, a big mistake that you're probably making is doing all of that work from the wrong brainwave state. You have to understand that when it comes to the brainwave state, more often than not, in our day-to-day lives, whether it's at our jobs or whatever it is, we're in a state of beta. beta, beta, whatever you want to conceptualize it as. And these waves move very, very quick. And I need you to conceptualize it like catching a train. If you're catching a train or trying to jump onto a train that is moving very, very fast, pause on jumping on trains, by the way, it's going to be very difficult for you to land on that train. You have to understand, there's a scripture in the Bible which esoterically displays the nature of how reality is materialized, and the only way it can be materialized, and that's John 3:27. A man can receive nothing unless it is given to him from heaven. I repeat, a man can receive nothing unless it is first given to him from heaven. And it also says in the Bible, on earth as it is in heaven. Heaven is your state of consciousness, which will be reflected into reality, as within, as without, as above, so below, on earth as it is in heaven. A man can receive nothing unless it is given to him from heaven. And heaven is that particular state of consciousness of inner peace, calm, bliss, abundance, because you desire nothing because you're in heaven. That is a state of consciousness. So you need to make sure that your brainwave state is actually reflecting heaven, which when it comes down to brainwaves, this is what we conceptualize as theta, which operates at about 4 to 8 hertz. Theta brainwaves, when your brain is producing theta, that's typically when you're in a state of relaxation. Now, this is why a lot of people who actually come from a particular survival paradigm, as I did, I literally grew up on a council estate, or what you guys, depending upon where you are across the world, that's considered the projects. Most of us in that particular environment are in a survival state of consciousness. We're nothing but stressed, tense, and worried all the time. And due to the fact that we are in that state of consciousness, we can't receive anything, because a man can receive nothing unless it is first given to him from heaven. You can't receive anything until you're in a particular state of consciousness and you are relaxed. You're at a point of inner peace, calm, bliss, and abundance, which is ironically everything that you think you'd get after getting into your desired reality. But the truth of the matter is, what you determine to be your destination is actually the starting location to get you to your destination. And that's a bar, write that down. The state that you think you'd be in upon attaining what it is that you want, that relaxation, is actually where you need to begin. And more often than not, when you're doing this work, you're probably frustrated. You're probably irritated. If you're watching this video, then you're probably like, fuck this shit. Why the fuck should I listen to some nigga in a fucking do-rag and a vest or a tank top or a wife beater? What's the point? And you have to understand and become aware of the state that you're in while you're doing all the work you're doing. Because chances are you aren't in a state of relaxation. And you have to be in a state of relaxation in order for things to move, because relaxation is synonymous with heaven. Heaven is also synonymous with the theta brainwave state, which is 4 to 8 hertz, which is literally what's considered the door to the subconscious mind. This work isn't working because you aren't working, and that's a bar, write that down. And when I say that you aren't working, I mean you are going against the very fabric of how the subconscious mind is programmed, which is typically in that state of theta. Theta is also synonymous with when you're relaxed or when you're drowsy. So you need to make sure that while you're doing these meditations, these visualizations, these scripting, whatever it is you're fucking doing, because there is no law of attraction, there is no law of assumption, there is no law of focus, there's only law of you. And the only law of you is the understanding that it's the conviction that you have in what you're doing that activates the technique to work. These aren't fucking written laws of the universe that somebody wrote down somewhere along the line. These are nothing more than human conceptualizations on how we think things work. But the ultimate law is you. Take, for example, the placebo effect. If I give somebody a sugar pill and say this is a painkiller, and they believe it, their body will begin to respond as if they've actually digested a painkiller. As above, so below. If humans have a placebo, then so does the universe. As above, so below. So understand, the first thing that you need to make sure you need to do if this shit isn't working is make sure that when you're doing the work, you're in a state for it to work. And that's a bar, write that down. You need to be out of a state of stress. You need to be out of a state of worry. You need to be out of a state of tense. Because so long as you're in this state, your brainwave will be corresponding with beta, which those brainwaves are too fast for you to latch onto them. Think about it like this. So theta brainwaves are like this, right? The slower, the easier it is. The slower the brainwave, the easier it is for you to project an idea onto it and for it to latch. Beta, they move too quick for you to latch onto. Theta, when you're in that state of relaxation. So ask yourself, have I been relaxed lately? Have I been calm lately? While I'm doing these meditations, visualizations, affirmations, have I been in a state of calm? That's the first thing you need to ask yourself, because chances are you definitely haven't. You need to take that frustration, that irritation out the way, because we're going to sort it in this video. Relax. Zip up your pants. Yes, relax. You're going to get some. That is the first thing.
How did you know my pants were down?
Cause I'm too messy, and then I'm too fucking clean. You told me to get a job, and it's whatever the hell I've been. And I'm too perfect till I show you that I'm not. I want to be me. Is that not allowed? I'm too clever.
Someone said Nero just living out his childhood dream of a preacher dropping every Sunday.
As in, they're saying my childhood dream was to be a preacher.
Yep.
Guys, my childhood dream was actually to be a comedian, but I'm African, so you already know how that went.
Was that actually?
You already, yeah. I loved comedy. Like, my dad used to have like bare DVDs of like Def Jam and stuff like that. So he always used to watch stand-up comedy in it. So I used to just be watching, and naturally, I like that type of stuff. Told my mom, she was like, nah, you gotta be a doctor. Real talk.
Give us a stand-up joke. You must have one.
Make me nervous. It's not the time for that. I was actually gonna be a doctor, you know.
Bro, you went uni
Till I didn't get the grades.
Yeah.
I have a degree in computer science, but it's far from being a doctor.
What grades you get? You do A-levels?
Yeah.
What grades did you get?
I don't need to talk about that. We don't need to talk about that. So, the second thing on the checklist, ladies and gentlemen, after first making sure that while you're doing the work, you're in a state for it to work, by making sure that your brain is corresponding to a particular wave of theta, which is a state of relaxation, which is also synonymous with heaven. John 3:27, a man can receive nothing unless it is first given to him from heaven. And then making sure when you do all the techniques that you do, whether it's affirmation, mental affirmations, visualization, scripting, whatever it is, making sure that you're already in a state of relaxation and making sure that you're relaxing yourself. And one way to easily relax yourself is to do nothing. And I mean that quite literally. This 21st century world that we live in is so fast paced, unfortunately, that our minds are always being stimulated and we actually never have time to do nothing. And it also says in the Bible, which esoterically, Psalm 46:10, be still and know that I am God. Before you can experience any particular degree of godliness or God, you first must be still. So make time to do nothing. And I quite literally mean that, you know, whether it's just sitting in silence with your eyes closed, whether it's quite literally staring at a wall. There's a Buddhist particular meditation called the white wall meditation, where you literally just stare at a white wall for a fixed amount of time and do nothing else. And it's that particular degree of allowing the mind to kind of dwindle down. And that, if you do stuff like that, that will get you to a state of relaxation. But you need to be in a state of relaxation in order to get to a reality where you are relaxed, because you need to be it before the world proves it to you. And so borrow that down. Now, the second thing that you have to understand is a very, very sneaky trick from the aspect of you that doesn't want this shit to work. Now, it all comes down to what I conceptualize as the old frequency. Now, what you need to understand is that there's 3 planes of existence: mental, physical, spiritual. And on the spiritual plane, there exists a doppelgang version of you, right? If you ever seen that film Us, you know, that was a really good film, the Jordan Peele one. Us, they had their doppelgangers in the underworld. We have something quite similar on the spiritual plane, which is built out of the old frequency or the old version of ourselves that we're trying to get away from. The reality that you're in has been nothing more than a product of your state of consciousness. That state of consciousness is an entity that exists. And that entity that exists wants to continue existing for the very purpose that it was created. And the way that it wants to continue existing is by sustaining itself off the energy, which is a combination of mental and emotional energy that you gave birth to it from. So that's why it can feel like, despite you doing everything that you need to be, this shit's not working. And it comes down to a very, 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 very sneaky trick that the old frequency plays. Pay attention. The old frequency will use an incorrect definition of manifestation to mislead you. What do you mean by that, Nero? Well, the old frequency will use an incorrect definition of manifestation to mislead you. Now, the whole point when you're saying it's not working, let me tell you something, that's not you. That's your old frequency speaking through you. What do you mean by that, Nero? relax, you're gonna get some. So you have to understand, most people's definition in the manifestation space, unfortunately, is to change reality. Whether it's to change reality with your thoughts, change reality with your consciousness, change reality with your self-concept, no matter what it is, the typical definition of manifestation typically is associated with reality or the physical plane and changing it. That is an incorrect definition of manifestation that will set you up to fail every single time. So if that's something you have in your head, you need to take it out. My definition of manifestation that I always say is manifestation is internally shifting to a degree to which you're no longer emotionally dependent upon seeing that reality change. I repeat, manifestation is internally shifting to a degree to which you are no longer emotionally dependent upon seeing your reality change. Because once we shift internally and we remove focus for the external, you have done something that the universe inherently knows, which is that reality is an illusion. Your concern with seeing your world change will always put you in a step to make you feel like it's not working, because reality is nothing more than a delayed creation of consciousness. And because it's a delayed creation of consciousness, when you shift consciousness, you can shift internally, but your world still be the same for a period of time. Hence why you're saying it's not working. But what you need to understand is, you saying it's not working is coming from the definition that nothing in my reality has changed, and you have the wrong definition of manifestation, or because of your old frequency, because it wants to stay. Now, it wants to stay, so it will get you to focus on the fact to say, yeah, but like, you've been doing all of this shit, nothing has changed. Like, you've been meditating like a fucking maniac, nothing has changed. You've been staring yourself in the mirror, doing those affirmations, nothing's working. You shouldn't listen to them niggas on YouTube. And in doing so, it gets you to focus on the illusion. If you focus on an illusion is essentially a trap. If you focus on a trap, then you'll be trapped. Hence why, despite doing everything that you feel like you should be doing in order for it to work, it's still not working, because what's your definition of working? Your definition of working is seeing reality change. But that's the incorrect definition of manifestation. And if you're defining manifestation incorrectly, that means you're going to incorrectly manifest, which means your reality isn't going to change because you haven't changed. And if you don't change, reality can never change. Hence why manifestation is about internally shifting to a degree to which you're no longer emotionally dependent upon seeing reality change. And let me show you what I mean. The old frequency is very, very dangerous. And it's very dangerous for the mere fact that not only does it get you to fixate your attention on the world around you, because it knows the world around you is a delayed creation of consciousness. So it's like, yo, if I get this nigga to focus on the fact that their reality hasn't changed, reality takes some time to change anyway. So when they see nothing's changed, they're gonna feel like this shit's not fucking working. But that's not them, it's me. And I'm projecting that into them, so I get to stay. Bear in mind, it gets to stay. And every frequency must become a reality. So the reality that you're trying to escape, the very cycle that you're trying to get out of, is maintained due to the fact that the old frequency is projecting itself onto you. And it does something very, 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 very sneaky. She says she usually don't, but I know that she front. And Shawty know that she don't want to seem like she's easy. So the old frequency will make you forget all the times that manifestation has worked. What do I mean by this? So you have to understand that whether you realize this or not, the moment that you began to embark on this journey to alter your desired reality, alter your reality to get to your desired reality, you enter the chess game with a version of you that knows you better than you, because it is you. Right? Just on a particular different plane of existence. And because it knows you, it knows the fact that this person has manifested before, but I want them to think that this shit doesn't work. So I'm going to take all the experiences to which they have manifested things and bring them right back down to the bottom and cloud it with every single time that they've tried and they've failed. So your failures overshadow the time that you actually have manifested. So you don't even realize that you have manifested before. And because you don't realize that you have manifested before, you then are easy to say and easy to convince that this shit doesn't work. Whether you realize this or not, you have had instances where things have manifested. And I'm talking whether simplistically, right? I remember I bought a Burberry coat once that I never saw anybody have. I bought that fucking coat, I started to see every nigga around me with it. And that is manifestation in of itself. Because manifestation is nothing more than, well, outside of my definition, if we see manifestation for what it is, it's the internal being expressed into the external, as within, as without. When something is within, it will be expressed without. Manifestation. Whether you were looking for a car online and you began to see that car everywhere, whether you're beginning to look for a bag and then you start to see that bag everywhere, a pair of shoes, whether you thought of somebody and they called you and they texted you, whether you wanted and were visualizing for this thing and you got it, you have experiences where you manifested things before. So what I want you to do, I want you to write them all down, right? Every single time that you manifested anything. Because, and don't fucking tell me, oh, it was only small things. There is no big or small to the infinite. Big or small only exists to you. And because it only exists to you, you are the one that actually alters your reality to perceive certain things as bigger and smaller. And unfortunately, all the things that you perceive to be bigger will be bigger than you. And all the things you perceive to be smaller will be smaller than you. And I see this all the time. You know, people will be like, hey, I'm struggling to manifest this. I'm struggling to manifest this. But, you know, this happens, but I don't want it. Every fucking girl will complain to me that she can't manifest, but then she's got 100 niggas that she don't care for looking for her. That's the secret frequency of not needing. That's a form of manifestation. You don't realize all the instances of your life where you've manifested things, whether it's seeing things, whether it's a parking space, no matter what it is, write them all down, because your old frequency will want you to forget the time that you've manifested, because it wants you to deplete your confidence. Because when you deplete your confidence, you deplete manifestation. Because true manifestation, no manifestation will ever take place without confidence. Confidence is close to conviction. Conviction is the energy that activates your reality to change. This is the true esoteric meaning of faith. Etymologically, faith comes from the Latin word fides. Fides meant confidence, conviction. It's not about trusting and believing. That's what people conceptualize faith to be. And that's how you've been looking at manifestation, because now you don't know if you trust yourself, because you've been replaced in terms of all the times where you actually manifested things. So write down all of those times, because when you write down all those things you manifested, what you're writing down is the frequency of it working. And when you can remind yourself that this stuff works, how can it not work? I've done this before, I've done this before, I've done this before. What you're going to feel internally is an energetic shift from a lack of confidence to confidence, because you're like, hold on, I manifested this. I even forgot I manifested this. I forgot I did this. I forgot I did this. I forgot I did this. And the moment you remember, memories don't go out and die. Memories exist within you as frequencies. So when you look back to memories, you're tapping into frequencies. So when you tap back into those memories of all the times you manifested, you're tapping back into the frequency of successful manifestation and bringing it to where you are right now, which strengthens the frequency that you're outputting to manifest your desired reality right now where you are. But you don't see it like that. So as I said, the more you can remember, let's say these are small wins. And I say small because that's how you'd conceptualize them. Or even big wins, right? But you kind of need to transcend that, which is something that we're going to be talking about shortly. So like I said, relax, you're going to get some. You need to remember all the instances to which you have successfully manifested things, because the more you're able to tap back into those wins, the more you tap back into a winner's frequency. And whether you realize this or not right now, when you're in a state of saying, oh, this shit's not fucking working, you're essentially submitting to reality. And because you're submitting to reality, you are beneath reality, and it is stronger than you. But you and reality are one. So the very circumstance that you feel trapped by, the very cycle that you feel like isn't working, the strength of the outward condition is strengthened by you. The only reason this thing seems unsurmountable or undefeatable or stronger than you is because its strength is coming from you. But you don't realize that, because you still see you and your reality as separate things. No, you and your reality are one. So if a condition, a circumstance, or a person, for whatever reason, seems to be above you at this particular moment in time, their strength is coming from you. And the strength is always going to be a strength of frequency, which comes from your particular degree of conviction. And the only way you can increase your particular degree of conviction is by remembering all these times where you've manifested small things. And when you do that, you come to an understanding that those small wins will make you feel different. And you will like, yeah, it does work. And when you do that, you strengthen the frequency that you're outputting to the universe right now, because you've shifted from a lack of confidence to confidence, and then things change. But ironically, when you internally shift by remembering all of these instances to which you've manifested things, that is the true definition of manifestation. Remember, manifestation is internally shifting to a degree to which you're no longer emotionally dependent upon seeing your reality change. When you're in that state of whatever it is that you want, whether it's a promotion, whether it's more clients, whether it's a person, whether it's this, whether it's that, when you feel so good that you don't need to see your reality change, that's when you know you've shifted. Because the truth is, right now, if you manifested what you want, you'd be like, whoa, this is crazy, it worked. What the fuck are you surprised about? And if you're surprised, then that's an indication that you weren't it within. Because like I said, the truest indication if you are something isn't if the world proves it to you. It's if you prove it to yourself before the world does. Because if you prove it to yourself before the world does, the world can't take it from you. And the issue is, the reason why you're frustrated right now is because the world is taking something from you. The world isn't giving you what you want because you're not giving it to yourself. And the only way you can give it to yourself is if you internally shift to a degree to which you're no longer emotionally dependent upon seeing reality change. And the only way you're going to do that is if you be it. Before you can become it, you first must be. When you first be, then it comes. Pause. That's the word become. First, focus on being, then it comes. So be wary of how the old frequency will play with you, because it wants to convince you that this doesn't work. It wants to convince you that you don't manifest. It wants to convince you that wasting your time, because it wants to stay. So let me ask you a question. When you were saying, oh, it's not working, fuck, I've been trying and nothing seems to be going right, who's talking? Is it you? Is it you? Or the old frequency?
You know, someone was in the comments asking for your parents' names.
Strange. That's strange. By the way, guys, my book is nearly complete. I would say I'm about 60% through my book. My book will literally be the greatest book written in the 21st century when it comes to altering your reality, how the universe works, so on and so forth. And that's nothing short of a promise. And really and truly, I'm really excited to put it out. I really am excited. Don't worry, it'll be the normal price of a book. And listen, I know some of you niggas gonna pirate it anyways. Listen, I pirated like 300 books when I was broke. So hey, game is good. As long as you're getting the information, that's all that matters to me. But what do you guys think is a better title? I want you to leave it in the comments. And what do you think, AJ? How to outsmart the game of reality, or how to outsmart the old version of you? Let me know what you think in the comments. You think game of reality?
Yeah. Which one do you prefer?
I think game of reality. Somebody once commented Nero's the best kept secret in the UK, which is funny because I am actually, and I say we, AJ, instead, because we do this together. We are actually one of the biggest influencers in the UK of YouTube subscribers. I didn't even realize that till my boys are like, yo, da.
You know your audience is like 7% UK.
Yeah, that's the thing though, because for me, it's been about the whole world. It ain't even about the UK. It's not even about anybody. It's about a frequency, you feel me? So if that frequency touches Guatemala, then that's what that matters to me. You feel me? What's funny about that? What's funny about that?
It's a bit random. Couldn't say Jamaica.
It's just a random place, isn't it?
Fairs.
Just a place that it was in my head.
Trying to manifest a trip there, I see.
Well, I'm supposed to be going to Canada, innit? It's like minus 12 degrees or whatever.
No, wait, still minus 12.
I know the only reason you want us to go to Canada is so you can potentially see Drake.
Yeah, okay, you got me. If I'm honest,
You're actually such a gobbler.
Drake messaged me the other day saying, yo, when you coming through to the 6?
Oh, you manifested. Cool. So, The third thing that you need to do is to transcend duality. Now, what do I mean by this? Okay, so duality can also be conceptualized as polarity, which is nothing more than the idea of separation, but it's separation that only exists in our third dimensional realm. I repeat, separation is only something that exists in our third dimensional realm. When you're at a point where you're saying that this isn't working and, oh, this isn't working, I've been doing this. When you get to that point, what you don't realize is that you've fallen for the illusion, of duality or polarity. Now, like I said, it's also known as polarity, it's also known as separation, but separation that exists within the third dimensional realm that we also call reality or the physical plane. Now, it's also the concept of energetic opposites. Everything in reality has an energetic pair of opposites. I repeat, everything in reality has a pair of energetic opposites. This can be conceptualized as hot, cold, masculine, feminine, yin, yang. Rich, poor, negative, positive, good, bad.
Drake, Kendrick.
Yes, they are polarities of, I would actually say they are polarities of each other. Now, due to the fact that polarity only exists within our third dimensional realm, these things only exist in this reality. But so long as you are operating from this reality, you're operating from a confined state of existence, which means your ability to alter reality will also be confined. In order for you to materialize and alter your desired reality, what you need to do is to transcend and go beyond the human way of operation and step into the universe's mode of operation. Because so long as you think like a human, you will suffer any single time and every single time. When you're saying it's not working, you've fallen for duality without realizing it. Because another duality that I didn't write down, another form of polarity, which is the main one that we're discussing here, is right and wrong. You have been fixating, or you have been allowing the old frequency to get you to fixate on the notion that it is going wrong. It is not working and it is wrong. And because you have been fixating on that label, you have done something very dangerous, which is to identify within the realm of duality. You need to keep your mind from a God's eye view as opposed to a human eye view, because the human will look at reality and be like, hey, this is right and this is wrong. But once you understand that outside of our third dimensional realm, there is no duality, everything is one. Hence why quantum physics will talk about the concept of quantum entanglement, which is the idea that when two particles are connected, no matter how far separated they become, what you do to one is instantly done to another, transcending space or time. Once you go outside of our third dimensional realm, you realize that everything's in a state of oneness and everything's directly interconnected. And so long as you fail to see reality through a lens of oneness, you will see reality through a particular degree of separation. And so long as you see reality in separation, you will experience reality in a separated state. You've been making the mistake of saying, everything's been going wrong. Everything's been going wrong. Everything's been going wrong. It's not working, because instead of transcending duality, you have subjected yourself to duality. And this is something that the alchemist knows. This is a secret that the alchemist knows. So make sure you write this down and make sure you put it in the comments, and hopefully it doesn't hit your head the wrong way. Life has no meaning. I'm gonna let that land.
What do you mean by that, Nero?
What do you mean by that, Nero? Light bulb moment. When I say life has no meaning, I don't mean that life is meaningless or valueless. It's quite the opposite, right? Because we still exist in this particular realm for whatever reason, right? Depending upon your soul contract, depending upon why your soul might have incarnated at this particular moment in time, or if it's to worship your God, which is all fine. I want niggas to understand something very clear. I'm not into all the politics of, oh, should you be religious? Should you not be religious? What is the true religion? So on and so forth. I don't give a fuck what you are. I just care about that your reality is in a way that you want it to be, because spirituality without the ability to control your reality is nothing but vanity. So you can believe the stuff you want to believe. I'm not here to convince you of shit. I couldn't care less. I just want you to make sure that you're in your actual desired reality by making sure you understand how the universe works. Now, to go back to what I was saying, the alchemist knows that life has no meaning. When I say life has no meaning, I don't mean that life is valueless. What I mean is that the meaning that we attribute to life is nothing more than our ego's desire to subject everything to duality. The ego likes to label things. It likes to say, this is this is that, this is this is that. And that's nothing more than it simply trying to understand and conceptualize reality in a way that makes sense, because your body's taking 13 billion signals from your environment across all 5 different senses. So this is experienced as chaos. So the mind likes to form a tunnel of some sort in order to make things make sense. So in order to make things make sense, it wants to label things. But when it labels things, it does something very dangerous, and that's attributing something meaning. And when you attribute something meaning, whatever the label that you're prescribing, whatever that meaning reflects is a frequency. So life just is, for the most part. Life just is. Until your perception comes and alters it. Because we don't see reality, we see ourselves. You don't see with your eyes, you see with your mind. And based upon your particular level of consciousness or the perception that you have will determine what you see in reality. Because we're all looking at reality. Right now I'm wearing shades. Everybody's wearing shades tinted in different colors. But you will go to one person and say, nah, this is green. Nah, it's black. Nah, it's blue. Without realizing that you're all wearing shades that you're unaware of. And because you're all wearing shades that you're unaware of, what you see is different, so what you experience is different. So then it comes down to the understanding that because everything is one, that's it. It simply is. It is. Reality simply is. All the conditions, circumstances, and events that you're going through, unfortunately, on a humanistic level, I will agree with you and say, this is bad, this is bad, this is bad. But the universe doesn't operate by morality. And that's something we need to stop kidding ourselves. And I see it very much as like beginner-friendly spirituality, in a sense where people like to moralize the universe and make it seem this and this and that. If you want to see how the universe works, look how the laws of the universe works. Look how gravity works. Gravity doesn't discriminate. It doesn't, only kill the bad niggas. You know what I'm saying? And it's the same thing with electricity. It's the same thing with fire. If you look at the energies of the universe and the laws of the universe, the operations of the universe, they are impersonal. Acts 10:34. God is no respecter of persons. Matthew 5:45. It rains on the just and the unjust. The sun shines on the just and the unjust. It rains on the good and the evil. The universe simply is. But it's not until we bring our interpretations of things that alters the perceptions of things, because through our perception, and as I'll get onto that in a second, we experience a particular degree of reality because your perception is directly interconnected to your projection. So the first thing you need to stop doing is stop saying that things are going wrong. That's the first thing you need to stop saying, because so long as you are saying that things are going wrong, you are adhering to the label of wrong, which means you're adhering to the meaning of wrong, which means you're adhering to the frequency of wrong. And every frequency must become a reality, which then keeps you in a cycle where things are wrong. Yo, did you see that chick that flew out to go see my man in America?
Who?
You didn't see the story? It was all over Twitter. I'm actually chronically online, which is something that people wouldn't be able to believe. But like, yeah. There was this girl who was gonna go link this guy because she thought he had money or some shit. Anyways, cut a long story short, she sends him a photo of throat spray. I didn't know what that meant. He's like, what? You got a cold or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not what they use throat spray for.
I didn't even know throat spray was a thing.
No, like when
I thought it was just like when you got a sort of
me too. Yeah, me too. Yeah, people are freaked out here, fam. Apparently that's not what they're using it for. Apparently they're using it to numb their ting. So yeah, it's long, bro.
So what happened?
Oh, they did end up linking in it because he was just like, nah, she's scaring me for real. Because she was talking about, because she was talking about doing all types of things that are mad.
Yeah, that's insane.
All types of mad things. It's crazy, man.
She thought she was cooking up, sending that picture. But
Wow.
was not on the same wavelength.
Bro, I couldn't believe it. It had to be explained to me. So I was like, I don't get what it's for.
That's such a Twitter thing.
It is. It really, really is. It really, really is.
Someone commented something on your YouTube that
Uh-huh.
should just belong on TikTok.
What did it put?
I think they said 2 words raw. Next question.
That's 3 words.
Yeah, I was about to say that as well.
Yeah, that's mad stuff. They need to focus. What color should I use? Bro, you've been putting on that lip balm for like 10 minutes. Is everything alright?
Bro, it's been. Why you? You watching me a bit too close, bro.
You're the only guy in the room. Like,
What's that meant to me? What is that meant to mean, bro?
I'm just saying. Like, why is it taking you that long? You look like you're about to prepare for something.
Yeah, we got Sus Nero before GTA 6.
I can't wait to play GTA 6. I don't even play games. I actually used to be a real bad gamer, guys. Like, crazy. Like, deep it. Man's on a counter estate or the project's playing League of Legends. You know League of Legends?
I tried playing that once
tried-
or twice. Once or
You
twice.
try playing League?
Bro, I could not get into it. It was tough.
Yeah. Real nerdy shit. League of Legends. I was a Riven main. For anyone who knows, you know what I mean. If not, then forget it.
I used to play DC Universe.
Nah. You used to play DC Universe. That's a serious game. That is a serious game. Cool. So, number 4 on the checklist. Don't worry, guys. We're nearly at the end. Just relax. You're going to get some. Number 4 on the checklist is altering your perception. Now, one thing that you have to understand is that where you stand, I repeat, where you stand determines what you see. Where you stand determines what you see. And where you stand isn't physically, it's mentally. Doing all the things that you've been doing, all the work that you've been doing, and still feeling like it's just not working. You having the perception towards reality that it's not working, that it's going wrong, and this stuff is baloney. I don't know why I put that. I think I heard like an American like TV presenter say baloney once, and it's just funny, innit? So like the idea that this stuff is baloney means that your perception, which is directly interconnected to your projection of reality, how you look at something is how it looks back at you. How you look at life is how life looks back at you. How you look at reality is how reality looks back at you. Because what you consider to be life, what you consider to be reality, what you consider to be the world is just a fancy way of saying you. So the way that you look at something is the reflection of how it looks back at you. So if you perceive things to say, this stuff's not working, I'm doing this manifestation, I'm doing this shit, it's not working, then that means what you're doing without realizing through perceiving it that way is through setting in motion it to be projected and experienced that way in your reality. So would you believe me that I told you it's not working because you say it's not working? And let's borrow that down, especially when you take into the truth that there are no truths in reality other than what the subconscious mind accepts as true. I repeat, there are no truths in reality other than what the subconscious mind accepts as true. So if it is true on a subconscious level, bear in mind, when we say subconscious, the language of the subconscious mind is emotion, right? That's the only language of the subconscious mind, because some emotional energetic charge is what the subconscious mind responds to, because that is the very fabric of reality. Emotion is energy emotion. Energy emotion emits an energetic vibration. When that compounds, it becomes a frequency. That frequency is the immaterialized form of reality. Reality is the materialized form of frequency. And then we experience it as a conditioned life or the world that we live in. And in doing so, when you perceive something from the particular frame of mind that it's not working, you set in motion to experience it not working. Now, is it not working because it's not working, or is it not working because you had a wrong definition on what it meant to work? And if you had a wrong definition on what it meant to work, then you visibly saw it not work. You solidified and immersed into your mind that it doesn't work, which means that you can only experience it not working. Hopefully you see the trick. And this is all beginning from the old frequency. And it's some very technical stuff. So the first thing that you need to do is shift away from the idea of saying that it's not working to the idea that it is working. And it's a simple decision. Because once you come to the conclusion that it is working, once you come to the conclusion that it's only not working because you have decided it's not working, then you also have the same potentiality. So for the mere fact that these two are energetic polarities of each other, same energy, only difference is their rate of vibration. So if it takes the same energy to say it's not working as it is working, then the moment you begin to decide that whatever the fuck you do, it is working, then guess what? Your perception alters. And when your perception alters, what else alters? Your projection. So the world that you live in and how you experience it. The prerequisite to it working is to get out the idea that it's not working, because the idea that it's not working can only bring it not work. Well, the idea that it's not working. What are you laughing at? The idea. I jammed. Yeah. I started. Yeah, that was crazy. Yeah. This goes back to the idea that I always say, right? Which is the annoying law of the universe, which is you can only have what you
already
exactly. You can only have what you already have. So if you have the idea that it's not working, then what can you only have, AJ? Lock in, man. You just said if you can only have what you already have. If you have the idea that it's not working, what's the only thing you can have?
What's not working?
Exactly. So if you have the idea that it's all going wrong, then what's the only thing you can have?
Things going wrong?
And if you have the idea that this stuff is baloney, what's the only thing you can have?
A bunch of baloney.
Exactly. Not for the mere fact that you're doing anything wrong, but you're perceiving it wrong. And because you're perceiving it wrong, you're projecting it to be wrong. And when you project it to be wrong, unfortunately, as human beings, what we call truth is what we can see objectively in reality. But what we see objectively is nothing more than what we have expressed internally. So if you shift what you have internally, then what you will experience externally will be different. Because like I said, as human beings, what we call truth is what we can see for the most part. If we can see it, then it's true. But whatever you can see on earth is only what exists in heaven. Whatever you can see in reality is only what you can see within you. So the truth isn't about what you see. The truth is about what you are internally. And if internally you're operating from an incorrect degree of perception, perceiving things not to be working, perceiving things as going wrong, perceiving things to be baloney, guess what happens to everything that you do while you're doing it? You're projecting a frequency that alters what you're doing negatively. So you could be doing your meditations, your visualizations, your scripting, keeping your thoughts in check, doing everything that you need to do. But if you believe that it's not working, then the frequency of it's not working is going to negatively alter everything that you do to ultimately overshadow it so it doesn't work. If you believe and see things as, oh, it's just not working, it's going wrong, then by adhering to wrong, you've now adhered to duality. You have to understand that there aren't two paths in this game, there's one path. Right? It says in the Bible that all things are working for your greater good. That's the understanding that once you transcend duality and see that nothing can go wrong unless you begin to perceive it as wrong and you attribute the label of wrong, the meaning of wrong, the frequency of wrong, you then end up creating two paths as opposed to the recognition that there's one path, and that is to your desired reality. Because you're so hyperfixated on everything going on outside of you that you've given power to everything outside of you. And if you then give power to everything outside of you, you have less inside of you, which means then outside can overpower your inside. If you perceive this stuff to be baloney when you're doing it, No matter what the fuck you do, nigga, you can read 100 books, but if you believe that this stuff isn't working, then ultimately the frequency of this stuff being baloney will overpower everything that you do. And this is what you have to understand. More importantly than what you do is the conviction in what you're doing works and is right. You guys will message me and say, hey, Nira, am I doing this right? Am I doing this right? Am I doing this right? Why the fuck are you letting me decide? Who am I to you? If I come and tell you no, what now? If I come and tell you yes, then what now? I need you guys to understand something. The only permission that you need is yours. It's not about going to a particular author in a book. It's not about commenting and asking me. It will be right if you determine it to be right. If you determine a particular visualization that this is going to work, a visualization or affirmations or a scripting or meditation that this is going to work, then you are the only thing that fuels that vehicle to make you move forward. You need to stop externalizing things and looking for a permission without realizing that the only permission that you need is yours in order to be in your desired reality.
It's crazy how many people have manifested things just from your YouTube videos.
Real talk. And it's because I don't hold anything back. I really don't hold anything back. Like when people hit me up to be clients or whatever, I always say to them, listen, everything that we're gonna be talking about is just gonna be more personalized. By the way, guys, if you're an entrepreneur who's stuck at a revenue ceiling and you want a 2 to 5 extra revenue in the next couple of weeks without changing anything in your business, link in the description. But I always say, everything that you'll find in anything that you pay me for, you'll find it on my YouTube. I really don't hold back. I'm cool with circulating things because I believe in the law of circulation. You feel me? The more information I circulate, the more in turn I get back. A lot of people like to gatekeep things and stuff like that or put it behind a paywall. Niggas, I really put everything out here. So to the people that are getting results, is because they've actually taken notes and they've implemented. So please, I'm begging you to do the same. Hence why I'm even cool with the idea of my book being pirated. You feel me? Because at least I know shit. It'll work. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Someone said, Nero, just letting you know, I got my 6 to 9 figure job in my industry in insurance. Always knew I could do it. Just finding you planted a seed, a well-needed seed that I could find nowhere else on the internet. Who is giving the real shit this clear? Nobody. GG's to the weirdos calling you a lizard and oiled up. Fine black king to me. That skin couldn't be dull if you manifested it to.
Okay. It
Your
was
blessings are everlasting. Thank you.
Okay. See, I don't even know if that's real anymore. Cause it was just, we were like here and yeah. Yeah.
I believe her.
Well, congratulations to you as well. I want to meet your madre, mi amor. The last thing, guys, and this should put everything into a nice, neat little bow. And this is something that you'll need when things are going right and you'll need when things are going wrong. So please, just lock in. I like orange. Cool. So when things are going wrong or you're experiencing a particular condition of reality that you don't particularly want, it's very easy for you to fall into reacting. Now, what I determine reacting is to allow the external to negatively impact the internal. You're letting your world around you put you into an emotional state where you're frustrated, you're irritated, you're apathetic, you're sad, you're depressed, so on and so forth. And essentially, without realizing, you've allowed the external to alter your internal without realizing that when your internal is negatively impacted, your internal eventually leads to your external. You have to understand that when you're experiencing a particular condition of reality, of suffering or misfortune or whatever it is, your old frequency is going to expect a default energy. And that default energy is all the negative emotions and negative thoughts that it was addicted to. It wants you to become frustrated, irritated, annoyed, apathetic. It wants that because that's the energy that it sustains itself off. Remember, emotion is energy, emotion, which is the most powerful source of energy in the universe. Now, understanding that it wants the default, there comes a time where you need to stop operating by default and you begin to live by design. Because it's not until that you can shift from default that your reality will not change. You need to shift to design. Design instead of default, design instead of default, design instead of default. Reacting is external, negatively impacting the internal. Internal eventually produces the external. Design is responding. So what does it mean to respond? To respond is to go from the internal and positively. And when I say positively, I don't mean it in the spiritual, toxic positivity sense of getting punched in your face or fucking smiling like a psychopath. I mean, when I say positively, I mean in reference directly to your desired reality. And I'll explain what I mean by this, because it has to be calculated. We're not just wasting energy for the sake of it, to the external. So when you react to something, what you're not asking yourself is an important question, which is, how would the version of me react to this situation, or look at this situation, feel about this situation, think about this situation? Please write that down, because the more you ask yourself and frame everything through the lens of the version of you in your desired reality, you then ingrain and train that to be your perception, to perceive reality through the version of you in your desired reality. And because your perception is directly interconnected to your projection, and the way that you look at life is the way life looks at you, the moment you begin to look at life through the lens of the version of you in your desired reality, life will look back at you as if you are already in your desired reality, and will begin to rearrange and orchestrate itself to reflect that. So to respond is to go from design, which when you're experiencing something that should piss you off, something that should frustrate you, something that should irritate you, you need to ask yourself, what would the version of me think about this? How would the version of me feel about this? And if you can do that before you give a reaction, you would have responded, which is to go from the internal to positively, but more specifically in a calculated manner, energetically impact the external, because then the old frequency would be like, what the fuck? This is not what I expected. No, you should be mad right now. You should be annoyed. Like, what? What's going on? And the moment that you begin to do that, you throw it off balance. And when you throw it off balance, you then gain the upper hand. So, that being said, now you know what to do when things go wrong. This might be a video that you need to come back to when it hits the fan, because when it comes to this game of reality, there's always going to be some bullshit.